Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another video on Captain Underpants and that big bad battle of the bionic booger boy, part 2, the night of the nasty, or the revenge of the ridiculous robo boogers. So today I'm going to be starting from chapter 13, the day before yesterday, maybe to chapter like 18 I guess. So before we get started, make sure you smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, smash the notification bell. Just come on, smash it. And let's just get right into it. The bookmark fell on the floor. Chapter 13, the day before yesterday. A few moments of flashing lights, everything became quiet. Harold opened the potty door and peeked out into the darkened library. Cautiously, the two time travelers stepped into the library and looked out. There they saw Madeline's father, Mr. Sneedley, zapping the bionic booger boy with a blast from the Combinatron 2000. "Been there," said George. "Done that," said Harold. In the corner, George and Harold found a coat and a hat which belonged to Miss Singerbrains. Immediately they thought of a plan. Harold put on the coat and hat and climbed onto George's shoulders. "I hope this disguise works," said Harold. "It better," said George. "We can't risk letting them recognize us." Soon George and Harold were at the scene of action. Mr. Sneedley had just fired the Combinatron 2000 a second time, and now the boys were ready to make their move. "Excuse me, Mr. Sneedley," said Harold, trying very hard to sound like grown-up. "I'd like to present onto the most brilliantest science guy of the whole wide world award." "Really?" cried Mr. Sneedley. "It's always been my dream to win that award." "But first," said Harold, "I'd like you to have a look at the Combinatron thingy." "Okay," said Mr. Sneedley. He handed Harold the Combinatron 2000 and smiled proudly. Said Harold, "I need to look at it behind those bushes over there." Harold and George wobbled over to the bushes, unbuttoned their coat, and switched the two Combinatrons. Then they wobbled back to and handed the fake Combinatron 2000 to Mr. Sneedley. "Everything seems to be in order," said Harold, "but before we present the award, we'd like to get a photo of you." "Who's we?" asked Mr. Sneedley. I'd like to get a photo of you," said Harold nervously. George stuck his hand out of the coat and held up the Forget-a-Call-It 2000. "Say cheese," said Harold. Mr. Sneedley looked down in shock at George's hand. Then George pressed the button. Flash! Suddenly, Mr. Sneedley forgot everything that just happened. Dazed and confused, he stumbled back and rejoined his wife just in time for the robo-boogers to come to life and smash the fake Combinatron 2000. Meanwhile, George and Harold were running with all their might back to the library, carrying the real Combinatron 2000. "That was so easy," laughed George. "Yeah," said Harold. "We sure got lucky this time." But when they reached the library door, George and Harold discovered that they hadn't been quite so lucky after all. Chapter 14, Miss Singerbrains. "What the heck is going on here?" shouted Miss Singerbrains. "I just got back from the restroom and found a portable potty in my library." "Harold," said George, "zap her with the forget-your-thingy, quick." "Nobody's zapping anything with anybody with anything," shouted Miss Singerbrains. She grabbed the Forget-your-Call-It 2000 out of George's hands and yanked the Combinatron 2000 out of George's hands. "I'm taking these things to the police right now," she said. "Maybe they can sort this mess out." Miss Singerbrains marched downstairs to the parking lot, got in her car, and began driving to the police station. "Well," said Harold, "we'll never catch up to her now." "Sure we will," said George. "All we need are some wings." Chapter 15, 65 million years before the day before yesterday. George and Harold grabbed a box of saltine crackers out of Miss Singerbrain's desk. Then the two friends stepped inside the purple potty and closed the door. Quickly, George reset the controls and pulled down on the chain. A flash of green light lit up the room and the purple potty vanished. Suddenly, George and Harold were transported back in time to the late Cretaceous period of the Mesozoic era, a time when dinosaurs ruled the earth. Cautiously, George and Harold peeked out of the purple potty, which was now nestled precautiously in the branches of a tall tree. "Here, Chicky, called George. "Polly, want a cracker?" called Harold as he tossed a handful of saltines into the air. Suddenly, the two boys were swarmed by hungry pterodactyls. Before long, a friendly-looking pterodactyl, Quetzalcoatlus or something to be exact, swooped down and grabbed some crackers from Harold's hand. "Aw, look," said Harold, "he likes me." "Great," said George. "Let's get him into the time machine and get out of here." Carefully, Harold took the pterodactyl in his arms and carried him into the purple potty. Then the two boys closed the door behind them, reset the controls, and pulled down on the chain. Suddenly, George and Harold and their new reptilian paw were transported forward in time to the day before yesterday. And the door of the time machine swung open, and the three friends sailed out of the purple potty, through the library window, and up over the town. George finally looked down on the city streets until finally he located Miss Singerbrain's car. "There she is!" George cried. I sure love our new pterodactyl," said Harold. "I'm gonna name him Crackers." "Don't give him a name," said George. "We're not keeping him. We're just borrowing him." George, Harold, and Crackers swooped down and landed on Miss Singerbrain's car, which was stopped by a traffic light. Miss Singerbrain screamed in horror. "Wait," cried George. "There's no reason to be afraid. You're just dreaming." "I'm dreaming?" said Miss Singerbrain. "Sure. Think about it," said Harold. "Purple potties appearing out of nowhere, kids running around with laser zappers, pterodactyls landing on your car. This stuff only happens in dreams." "Gosh, you're right," said Miss Singerbrain, "but it all seems so real." "Well, trust us," said George. "In a few minutes you won't remember any of it." Before long, George, Harold, and Miss Singerbrain were all gliding back to school with their good pal Crackers. The Combinotron 2000 and the Forgetful-Macaulay 2000 were safe once again. Soon they arrived back at the library. "I'll keep an eye on Miss Singerbrain," said George. "You take the pterodactyl back where we found him." "Can't we keep him?" asked Harold. "No," said George sternly. "He belongs in his own time. Now take him back." "Aw, man," said Harold. Sadly, Harold carried Crackers into the purple potty and closed the door. After a few seconds, the time machine disappeared in a flash of green light. A half hour later, another flash of green light filled the room, and the purple potty was back. "What took you so long?" asked George. Nothing," said Harold. "Do you have any trouble taking Crackers back to his home?" asked George. Not really," said Harold. You did take him back to his home, didn't you?" asked George. Sure," said Harold, though he didn't sound very sure. Quickly, George zapped Miss Singerbrain with the Forgetful-Macaulay 2000 and jumped into the purple potty. Then, with a quick flash of green light, they were gone. Chapter 16. Back to the present. Mr. Melvin was happy to see his purple potty return to him, and even happier to see his beloved Combinotron 2000. "Now all I need," he said with a sneer, "is to find Captain Underpants." Fortunately, Captain Underpants, who you probably remember looked just like Melvin Sneedley, wasn't too far away. Unfortunately, he had spent the last 2 days getting himself into trouble. First, he started off by annoying some old ladies. Captain Underpants had been helping them cross the street when he heard a little girl crying for her kitten, which was stuck in a tree. Captain Underpants rescued the kitty but forgot about the old ladies. "Hey," shouted one of the old ladies, "that flying kid just left us up here in the street. I'm gonna get that kid if it's the last thing I do," said the other old lady. Next, Captain Underpants was soaring above the football field when he encountered an unidentified flying object. It was made of brown leather and had a white stitching on the side. Said Captain Underpants. "This could be a dangerous UFO." He grabbed it and flew down to the football field where oddly the school's football team was having a big game. "I don't want anybody to panic," cried Captain Underpants shouted, "but I just captured this UFO. I'm going to take it to the moon where it can be safely destroyed." Suddenly, the players from the visiting team attacked Captain Underpants, which cost the home team 50 yards and the game. "That kid just made us lose our biggest game of the year," said Miss Meaner. "I'm gonna get that kid if it's the last thing I do," snarled the quarterback. Purple dragons sing along, friends. Finally, Captain Underpants got on the back side of some skateboarders in the park. He had politely pointed out the no skateboarding signs, but the skateboarders refused to go away. So Captain Underpants had no choice but to snap their skateboards in half with his kung fu kicking action. No skateboarding. Then it was spankings for everyone. "Dude," cried one of those skateboarders, "that little dude just duded our dude boards." "Dude," said another a skateboarder, "I'm gonna dude that dude if it's the last dude I dude." Chapter 17, The Big Switcheroni. Alright, and I will stop here for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you smash the like button and also subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.